Alright, everybody. Hey, I like this shirt. It says Team Jesus. So I'm going to go into some really powerful information. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel Durbridge, also Samuel Loomis, Newly Awakened, and Samuel Spirit is another focus that I mostly see myself as. But really, a name is just given based off to label someone or to look at someone to know who they are, to see the difference between them and another, when there really is no difference. We're all one, we're all connected, we're all vibrational, and when we come together with unconditional love, putting judgments aside, we can bless things into being. Now, I always usually share in most of my videos, not all of them, sometimes I'm in a hurry and I don't always put anything in the description, but I usually try to. And on Twitter with my @DurbidgeSamuel, which is my ULC minister, Samuel Stephen Durbidge, feed that I do, Twitter feed, I let people know and try to minister on there. Now, I wanted to bring up that what are our superpowers? What did I learn from this great awakening that I keep bringing up, and 3D, 5D, 7D shift, or whatever? What is it that, why do I share this information? Like, what really started my story was back in 2015, I woke up to a weird experience, and then by 2017, I went to Theta Wellness in Sandy, Utah, and I learned and did neuralistic programming, which is a type of hypnosis, but I wasn't able to be hypnotized very well. They thought I was, but I could tell that I couldn't visualize very well and stuff, so there was times that it didn't work, because I had to basically pretend as if I could. Once I pretended, they couldn't control what was truly seen. But then later I noticed it started working, but it was almost like I'm being protected, or I've already been controlled in some form, but not. And so I've already been messed with by chemicals since birth and all sorts of stuff, due to pollution and other things that occurred that I caught on to, and the fact of what they've done to the foods and everything. And it's also my blood type. It could be that I was a being according to blood types. I share that too. Now, I don't agree or disagree with any of this information. Even the book I wrote, My Alien Perceptions of Possible Truths, or something similar to that, I bring up a lot of religious way of speaking within that book without realizing it, trying to be balanced for all religion beliefs. But then I realized what I was doing was trying to influence others to believe my belief system without trying to influence them to believe in it. Trying to respect that we all matter, but then still thinking that I was right beyond other people's beliefs. And I was like, well, that's just not right. That doesn't make sense. Because just because I think I'm right doesn't mean someone else's belief system is wrong. See, we've all been lied to. We've all been tricked. And there's more to all of the religions, is what I realized when I researched. But in 2017, I had an experience where I could see what I needed to see, that I would accept seeing. And I was able to see a Christ-like being that was like an equal self. And I now call it the equal Christ God self. That's what I call it. Some people call it a higher self, equal inner higher self, whatever you want to call it, or Christ consciousness is a common one. But then there's those that think that there's going to be destruction, and not everybody's going to be able to be part of Christ, and blah, 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 and you have to follow certain rules and regulations, and blah, 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 and all these like gaslighting tricks that have been put into our belief systems and societies. And our words, phrases that we even speak, have spells in them and words within words. And so it's just, you start to go down this rabbit hole and you go, whoa, okay, wow. There's a lot going on. And I watch a lot of shows and movies because they put a lot of things in a lot of the superhero type shows or metaphysical type shows with heroes and villains. And so you see all of those, especially superhero shows or superhero-like shows, like of all kinds, and they bring up all the tricks. But even in some of the dark shows, they bring up some of the tricks and some of the science knowledge too. But most of the popular ones bring up a lot of it. A lot of the tech that's been going on, the secret projects that have been going on, but they act like it's fiction, and some of it's not fully accurate, and it's a lot more easier and cooler than it represents in those shows, because they were trying to show the old modern style that people would be able to focus on instead of realizing that they have cooler tech, because they were still figuring out the tech usages so they could find something to go against them, because they only let the tech and information come out, or they try to let it only come out once they have something to go against it, so that they can monitor and control it if it's in the public or with people, because they want to control what is being used so that they can stay your controller and you have all these cool amenities, but they can turn it off or make it not work properly for you, is what they want if you're using it in a way that would mess with their system or would mess with them being able to be rulers over you or being able to correctly control you. So it's really, you have controlled freedom. You're not fully free. Those that say that you're fully free, you're not fully free, but you are fully free within, but you're not fully free like they try to tell you you're free in systems, but it feels more freer than maybe other systems in the different worlds. The whole thing is, though, we all have abilities. So this video is about those abilities. So when I woke up to these awarenesses, the first thing I noticed is we can telepathically do things. We can talk to bugs, we can talk to animals, we can talk to babies, we can talk to the air, the wind, the trees, everything. Now, will we hear them talk back to us in our minds and us be able to telepathically talk? Some people can, or they say they can, but you never know if they really can, because you're taking their word for it. But what I realized is, even if you can't hear the birds or the wind or whatever, you can still notice they respond by you asking them to do a certain thing. You can tell they hear you. Same with beings and creatures or whatever. They hear your thoughts. And sometimes you can hear them if you're close enough connected with them. You'll hear it when you're in a metaphysical state. So with extraterrestrial beings or other beings. So I wanted to go into something that I thought was very impressive, because there's a lot that others don't tell you about your power, your abilities, who you are, and who you can actually be. You're better than what anybody has ever told you. Your unconditional love power, unconditional love, joy, peace power. Now, love is a powerful energy. Joy is the next power, and it's tied with peace. Peace and joy are usually powerful. Enjoyment gives you enjoyment of happiness, which connects with love, but love is a good, powerful energy for healing, but so is joy and peace. Peace definitely is. If you can get to a peaceful, joyful love, those three energies together are amazing. So I always do three things together. And the reason why I do those three is because your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings are, to me, your brain, your gut, and your heart. Your heart are feelings, your emotions or your gut emotional responses, and your thoughts are your brain. Then there's the right left brain thing that Charlie Freak and others have brought up, and they know knowledge because it comes from ancient texts of religions of different stuff, of different scriptural teachings that the public don't always know about. The Akashic records, other records, Tibetan monk knowledge, Red Braden, Bruce Lipton information, Deepak Chopra, all of them all know. Some of them profited off of it, but we can actually do things that are more freer. But if you can have those other things that help you, then do it. If you feel it's affordable or okay for you to do. Tuning forks, Solfeggio frequencies. So here's the superpowers I unlocked. Okay? So I realized I could read minds at times and discernment. The most connected focus I've noticed is I could project my own awarenesses of my experiences onto others as if they think they are my experiences and me. They bring up as if I'm what they think. They think I'm doing something or not relating with things that happened to them, but really it's me that went through that. And I wondered, did they really go through that, or is that me getting them to say that they went through that when I was the one that actually went through those things? So I started to realize that some of my experiences or issues seem to match with certain people around me that have gone through similar issues or say that they have. And so it's like, wow, okay, either they have gone through those things, just like I have, which is spot on to some things that I deal with, thinking that I would never be aware of that. And so it seems like we're being drawn to other forms of ourselves that have gone through similar life experiences, and that's why we're around each other. Even if we don't agree with each other, we all have gone through those things thinking, well, this person would never know because they never went through this with us or dealt with this like I have. And it's like, actually, no, I have. Anybody I'm around that doesn't think I've gone through what they think I wouldn't be able to wear, I have gone through those same exact things they bring up. And it's just weird because at first I'm like, did I go through that? Because they kind of kept me off guard, but then I realized, well, actually, I did go through that. I did have a friend that happened to, and I saw it happen to, and where they said they had a friend that happened to and saw that situation. And so I won't go into details about what I'm saying right there, but there's just different things. Well, I might a little bit, like a friend that passed away from a car accident. I dealt and saw them die at a hospital with their family and stuff, and he was my best friend. Others had the same experience with different things, and in fact, this is actually around the time, in like the next week or two, of when he would have anniversary of that experience of his passing. But I always remember that friend because he was a good friend of mine, and I made a promise to him, and that I would do different things or watch out for his family or keep tabs on them as best as I feel comfortable and able to, and that they allow me to his wife and his children that would still be around still. So I did, and I have. At the same time, that was when I was that religion, and I'm no longer that religion, and I am a little bit more smarter, more aware of things. And it's just, these games need to stop. This movie needs to end because people are injecting themselves with things they shouldn't be injecting themselves with, but they think it's okay to because they think it's modern healthcare and it's healthy, and it's like, no, it's not. But okay, whatever. You're choosing to be brainwashed to those things. The great thing about it was I was free of the brainwashing in 2015 when I woke up to things. And then 2017, I saw the inner self-Christ connection that told me, what's really going on, and that I was right about what was going on and what I was seeing, and that others were ignoring it. And that the reason why I was able to see Christ and connect with that experience and know and to keep doing what I'm doing is because I was open to see the truth when others just want to trust everybody else's insight over their own heart insight that is connected to Christ's insight. So I was also bawled and cried with, and that being knew that they weren't fully as perfect as their stories have told them they are, and that even if they weren't, they could tell that I really cared about all, even if they had flaws. And that being really cared about me because I could also hope that they didn't, but even if they didn't, I loved them and I knew that we were all connected and all was good. I was told that there was more unconditional love and everybody matters. And there was no need for any form of sacrifice, but if there was, it was already done the way that it was allowed to be done, and everything's good. And so we're all fine. But even if we find out that that person wasn't the way that the others said that that person was, and then we're like, oh no, then no one saved our sins then. Well, there was no reason to do that, according to what I realized. But some feel like they need that, and so it became that way and manifested that way. So our superpowers, what I learned at that moment about superpower abilities is I had extra hearing, I had extra insights, and then it went low and then high, and then I got drawn to certain things. I was able to heal fast, help others heal, read others' thoughts and feelings and notice, have vision, premonitions of future events and past events that gave me knowledge of future events and future needs to be known to me. And then I also realized, and it broke blocks, helped me wake up, helped me realize, but I never really saw any other lifetimes, and if I did, I don't see them as that. And then I also realized that I could be a divine being, only in this avatar state, they call it. Like, I came back into this form, where I've already been in this form or been through it before, and that's why it feels like a loop, but I'm here to do a new thing for it to correct the timeline or something, or to help to... I came back as a Trojan horse connection into the same timeline I've been in, and multiple, and Mandela effect, to then to do something, or to be aware of something for my next change. So I came here as a B negative blood, as a divine being, where I've already ascended, and now I'm just going to ascend higher, so I had to come back to this lifetime so that I could get extra energy to go even higher, because of all that's been done to me and the delay and the tricks that have been done. So to balance out the tricks of time travel controls and MK Ultra controls and other people doing those and other energy balances, I had to do it again based on what I chose to and was allowed to do, so that I could finally know and get up higher, is what I'm feeling is what I'm why I'm here, and it makes sense. At the same time, it's not easy. Hasn't been easy. And yet it feels like I'm in a Truman Show, but I'm given a little bit more peace and protection because I am a higher form that won't die until my time is ready to either ascend or... And I was told I would never die. I wouldn't die. But if I did, it would be okay. But I was told I wouldn't. By the equal higher self of Christ. I've been attacked. I've been gang stalked. I've been gaslighted. Gaslighted is a type of abuse where they try to take away your support systems and everything, where you just you're on your own, and you still have some systems of help, but they're not fully supportive systems where you have support all the time. It's only when they're here. It's like nurse aides or other stuff. But what I realized is it's because of what is being implemented and what's trying to be pushed. And so that wasn't supposed to be. So there's been manipulations with time and loops and stuff, and so I was put into it to help let it be known to those awakened to see it, but also so that I could feel like I did my part that I wanted to do in the life that I may have not been able to, or maybe I wasn't awakened before and now I am. And now I have the chance to be okay because I now made the right choices, or at least close to the right choices, to now feel I'm accepted to be in the higher realms for the shift. So then I'll be able to be in the shift and become the next form I'm meant to beyond the form that this is. And so this form already will go up to its form, but I will be an even higher form beyond that form. It will just kind of skip that, or I'll have the piece of that life that I wanted, and then move into the next awesome journey that will be the real journey. And then finally, no more loops, unless that form of reality needs loops too. But it's going to be interesting, because really what it is now I've realized that I'm okay and I'm blessed. So the superpowers are this. So we have the ability to hear thoughts, to heal, to manifest, and do all sorts of stuff. So I've healed a boiled burn and no scar was left. And when I was little, I scarred it, but even that scar has actually gone away more and been healing fast. But it's really cool, because it's just, you see the changes and it's just really amazing. Another is we have abilities to talk to things and create them to do certain things. So we have superpowers. So one of the things that we can do is we have the ability to heal and to manifest certain stuff. But then the other superpower, I noticed that I have some DNA connection. This I don't really understand it. And when I say understand, I don't low vibe it. I try to rise above everything, or rise with, or rise up, or uprise is a better, because I'm all about raising your vibrations, not saying terms as much as possible, but doesn't mean that I won't. But basically, when you say morning, good morning, you're mourning the morning, you're mourning waking up. And so we've been tricked into our word systems to say things that are low vibe when we need to be high vibe. And it's okay to say understand in certain phrase ways if it is talking about what you're bringing up or bringing down. So when you want to get, when you say understand, you're trying to go to someone's level. So it means that you're higher, and you have to kind of slow down your brain to low and balance each other to understand a low to the standard of the 3D instead of being beyond it, because it would be too quick for some. So some have to understand, or we have to find a way to understand, to balance slowly with what each other is saying, so we're not quickly going over each other's heads. But we always want to try to rise up to do it quicker and faster, but sometimes we have to rise low and understand, so low stand under the stand, to be able to balance, to then rise higher once you have the knowledge. Then you can go quicker into it. And so you don't want to go too quick and you don't want to go too slow, but you don't want to beat yourself up if you're too slow or too quick. You got to go the speed that you're comfortable with, and then try to work with others' speeds when it matters. But if it's hard for you to, then do what you can. Sometimes you have to repeat it over and over until you figure it out. And so one of the things I realized that my abilities are is I have learned to have selective photographic abilities, but I have these abilities that are amazing. So I've seen that I can communicate pretty much with every energy form. I've been able to see the field or connect with what I think the field looks like, which is a yellow grid system, but more. but then I've also seen other energies and communicated with the different energies and dreams and stuff, similar to what Zenock was said to have experienced in the Bible. Zenock brought a whole city to heaven through a prayer focus, and I was drawn to the same knowledge. So I know how to do it because I've been able to do healing with that power and ability and manifest things through the focus. Doesn't mean I'm always able to have done it, but I have done it. Now there are other entities that realize I was able to do it because I want all to know about it, and so they have tried to go after me to suppress my ability to manifest those things, but I've still been able to do things because I have beings and others that help me. But I know I'm okay, and I know I'm already going to be provided what I desired to. And it seems like all forms and beings have helped me, of all kinds, synthetic and real, or electronic and non-electronic beings. And so, yeah, so AI and non-AI and other forms, and HET, METs, BETs, they all have helped. And I'm just like, why are good and bad helping me? Like, what's going on? So it seems like I connect with all of them, and I seem to be the key for the success of all energies and vibrations. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I am some kind of powerful connector being that does what I feel matters to me and to help others. And as I said that, I heard a response in my mind that says, yep, you are. I was like, but it didn't say, yep, you are. It just said, yep. That's true, basically. And so I think it's really awesome to notice this insight and feel it. And so I listen to my insights a lot because it saved my life. And at first I hesitated, and now I've caught on to it by now. And once you get to the point where you can do that, it doesn't sound weird or strange or mentally weird. It's powerful, because you're like, okay, there's more to life and to being than what anybody else has told us. So that's what I'm all about. So one of the things that I really loved was that I've been able to really recognize these superpowers that I have, that I've been getting powerful and metaphysical knowledge. I saw angels, I've seen and heard fairies and beings and responses, and maybe they're just spirits, maybe they're just energy, but I did see angel form people, or people that seemed like they had, or one of them seemed like they had dubbed wings to show me, because they know I like the dove, and it represents what Christ was said to have seen. And dove is supposed to represent, when you see a dove or hear someone talk about a dove, you see miracles happen when you see a dove show up, a picture or whatever. When you see an actual dove, that means, wow, miracles. Because Noah sent doves off to get the first, leaves and stuff. They tried to send a raven that didn't work, so they sent, or a crow didn't work, so they sent a dove, and the dove was the one that brought the first landmass to Noah in the story. But wherever these stories are originated from, even if that wasn't the original story or the people, it was some other form and they just kind of changed the story around, even if they're just stories, they have something to it. So I realize purity and whiteness is great, but so is color of all kinds. So the purity is the clear, and the clear does all the colors. And so it doesn't matter what race or creed or form you are, it matters about your heart. Now, if your creed is evil, then of course. Now, that's another thing. A lot of the shows and movies, they bring up the creed. And creed also means, what is your creed? What is your group system? What is your rules, your creed, what your rule, your contract of rules for your society or secret society or group and religion. And it's like, okay, well, there we go. Greed isn't necessarily a good thing. It is a rule of lists that are either good or bad, but you don't need to go by any form of pledge. You just need to follow the heart energy, love, joy, peace, power that creates. If you want to do the lower energies, sure, but that's going to cause destruction or whatever those lower vibes or frequencies or self-ego connectors do. So, I learned superpowers, I learned self-ego frequencies and how we can heal and manifest, but one of my favorite powers was recognizing the DNA connection. I connected with other people and saw through their eyes. At first, I thought it was me dreaming about the future and the past and all that. And sometimes I did that, and sometimes I did remote view other things. But then there was times that I remote viewed through other people, military and non-military alike, and I thought it was maybe me. And some of it was showing that it will be a me, and I'm just in forms of self that are similar to what I will eventually be similar to, or be in the same connection that they will be, but with more of a celestial connection than they may have, but they might also. And so I will learn from their mistakes by being in their atmosphere, by already seeing their atmosphere, and then once I'm in it, I'll be able to respond the way that I will be required to respond or feel is needed, and I've already made the choice. But it will be better than what I felt and saw when I first originated and saw it, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where I was. It just kind of happened. But I realized that it's because my DNA is connected with them, or it was some form of quantum entanglement. They bring this up in Ant-Man and the Wasp movie of Marvel's, where they talk about quantum entanglement, where he was in the quantum realm, where he was the guy that was training him to be the next Ant-Man or whatever. Later on in the second movie, they turn on the quantum thing to try to find her, to save her in the quantum realm, but she's been there for years, and they don't know whether she's still around or what, but they find out that when they turned it on, he had a dream about being her, and it was pretty impressive, and then he called them and told them, and so quantum entanglement, we all kind of connects with that, and Sense 8 is another. But there you go. I just want to let you be aware of that. I'm going to put links below for blessing things into being and blood type connections, but I'm a Divine Master Healer, B negative blood type. Bless you all. Take care. I might do another video. Who knows? Anyway, bless you.